Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. In our today's video, we are going to understand a very important scheme of Government of India known as Prime Minister Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana. Now, if you want to download the notes, these notes will be available after the video ends on the Telegram channel ATS Live. So you can find it by simply entering the word ATS Live in the Telegram app. This is the channel, subscribe to it if you still haven't and download the notes. Now, why are we discussing this scheme? It is because yesterday the Union Cabinet gave its approval to the scheme Prime Minister Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana, which was announced by Madam Finance Minister in this year's Union Budget, right? Now, what this scheme wants to do, it wants to develop 100 agricultural districts across the country by achieving what is known as convergence of different schemes that are already available with the government. So how the scheme would work, what are its key source of inspiration, what are its key features, that we'll understand in our today's discussion, okay? Let us start by first of all understanding what motivated government in bringing this particular scheme. Now, if you remember, in late 2020s, that is around 2018, government brought a very important scheme known as Aspirational District Program. Now, in this scheme, what government wanted to do, it identified 112 most backward districts in the country and envisaged to develop them. And how government wanted to develop them? By bringing the benefits of all the existing schemes that has already been introduced by the government and ensuring that the benefits of these schemes are provided to all the people living in these most backward districts known as aspirational districts, right? So it was to ensure quick and effective transformation of these most underdeveloped districts under the country, and this was done through what was known as convergence, that no new benefits were brought, rather the existing benefits of existing schemes of the Government of India, they were ensured to be delivered into these districts, right? So this was the original scheme, aspirational district scheme. So because this scheme was so successful in achieving a better standard of living for people living in these aspirational districts, government thought to replicate this example even for our agricultural sector. So that is why this Prime Minister Krishi Dhan-Dhaanya scheme, it targets development of 100 districts who already have low agricultural productivity, which means that the yields of crops in these districts are below national average. Similarly, these districts also have a moderate cropping intensity. Cropping intensity, it essentially means how much or how many times do you use that particular land to grow crops in a particular year. So more number of crops are grown in a particular year on the land, more would be the cropping intensity, and you can understand the farmers would be beneficial. So that is why this provides to the districts who do not have an adequate cropping intensity much below the national average. Similarly, it also ensures that those districts where farmers do not get adequate amount of credit, these districts also will be provided the benefits of Krishi Dhan-Dhaanya Yojana. So essentially, it targets 100 districts who fall below the parameters of agricultural productivity, cropping intensity, and coverage of credit to the farmers. These districts will be identified and will be provided benefits much similar to how the aspirational districts were provided benefits. Now, what the scheme wants to do? First of all, it wants to boost agricultural productivity. You can understand it wants to boost the overall yield of these agricultural products coming from these districts. Also, it wants to promote crop diversification so that farmers are not dependent on one or two crops. Rather, they are growing different crops which will help them enable get a better income from their farm produce, right? And also it wants to support sustainable agriculture, and this is very important because these days we are seeing farmers are dependent a lot of input which costs a lot of money when it comes to farming using those inputs. So what government wants to do, they want to reduce the dependence on inputs. They want to make agricultural more sustainable and less harmful for our environment, so that to reduce the overall water usage, fertilizer usage, etc., right? So this is what the government wants to do with the Prime Minister Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana. Now let us understand what are the key features of this scheme. First is that obviously government would take post-harvest storage improvements, as we have known that whenever farmers get their crops, they are forced to sell in the market because they do not have any place to keep them aside for certain months. So constructing such cold storages, constructing such storage infrastructure would be essential so that farmers would be able to store these crops, and whenever the price is desirable in the market, then they can and decide to sell this produce in the market. Similarly, government will also provide irrigation facilities. We have also known that almost 55% of our gross cropped area, it is rain fed, not not irrigation support, right? So better access to water resources obviously would lead to better yields of the crops, especially in the districts which are right now under the rain-fed agriculture. Also, credit availability has been a big issue when it comes to farmers. Farmers, they do not have adequate documents, and formal financial institutions, they are reluctant to lend them money. So what government is doing, they will facilitate short-term and long-term loans for farmers so that they can use it for their consumption purposes, they can use it for their agricultural purposes in buying different kind of mechanized tools, right? And all of this would lead to better productivity. Understood? Similarly, who will be the beneficiaries of this scheme? It is expected that this scheme would benefit 1.7 crore farmers in India, and for this scheme government has provided additional budget outlay which is almost 24,000 crore rupees per year for the next 6 years when this scheme will be in application. This scheme started from this financial year 2025 and 26, and it will continue for the next 6 years, and every year government is going to provide 24,000 crore rupees, right? So this is how the scheme would work. Now, not just the schemes are important, but how it will be implemented on the ground, that also becomes important. So let us understand this. Now here, the districts that will be identified under the scheme, they will start their district level plan, and this will be called as a district agriculture and allied activities plan. Now the person who would be responsible or to overlook the plan formation would be the district collector, and it will be prepared by a separate institution known as District Dhan-Dhaanya Sarathi. And this Samiti, which is a form of committee headed by district collector, it will also include many of the progressive farmers as their members, because they will provide adequate advice to this committee and help them form district level plans. Now the original intention of the government to form these plans is to help these plans align with national goals like water conservation, ensuring good soil health, natural and organic farming, as well as self-sufficiency. So these plans would be made taking care of all these aspirations, all these goals that the government has already set. And the overall intention must be very clear to you. Government wants to reduce the cost that the farmers spend on input. Government wants to increase the sustainability of agriculture, and government also wants to improve the productivity of all this agriculture, and all of this in long term would lead to what? It would lead to higher income for the farmers, right? So this is what the government wants with this scheme. And this committee for governance and monitoring purposes not just will be created at the district level, but also will be created at state and national levels. And there will be designated central nodal officers who will conduct field visit and review and monitor the scheme, so that when central government is spending so much amount of money, it is understanding that it is actually leading to good outcomes. Also, agricultural universities in India, both centrally owned or state owned universities, they will provide technical support to the farmers. And Niti Aayog, which was responsible for implementation of aspirational districts program, it will provide overall guidance, overall expertise, as well as support to capacity build the farmers and the agricultural sector, right? So this is how the scheme will be implemented at multiple levels. The most important level is the district level, where a separate committee will be formed headed by district collector, and it will also include progressive farmers of that region. And based on this plan, the agricultural setup of that district would be improved, right? Now, for ranking and evaluation of districts, one of the key aspects of aspirational district program was not just envisaged convergence, but it also envisaged competition between these districts, right? So that when districts compete among themselves, they automatically improve. And therefore this scheme is also modeled on that same aspirational districts program, where convergence is not just envisaged, but even competition among the districts will be envisaged. And therefore government will also publish a monthly performance rankings, which will be done, or which will be calculated based on 117 different key performance indicators. To make things more transparent, a central dashboard and portal will be there also, which will help people identify real-time progress. And a competition will be encouraged among districts to spur better performance, right? So even students, how we perform well when we compete against each other, right? Similarly, these districts will also compete against each other. Now, Before giving you the practice question, I have something I wanted to tell you, especially to the students who are looking to give exams next year. Now you understand you barely have 10 months amount of time left, and how you can utilize this 10 months amount of time left. You need right guidance, right content, and right approach. Now for all these requirements, there is a one-stop solution. This is called as a resolution batch. You can take admissions to these resolution batches, and the batches for 2026, the admissions will close on 30th of July, right? 20th of July, sorry. There is very little time left, so please do not waste your time. Enroll into one of our batches, especially for 2026. It will help you clear prelims, and a diamond batches that is available at 29,999. It helps you even get scholarship. So suppose if you clear your prelims exam next year, your entire course fees will be refunded. Now if you have any doubt, it's quite natural to have. You can contact us on 9240231070. They will help you out, and you can choose accordingly. There are 3 courses available: gold, diamond, and platinum, right? You can take decisions automatically. What you need to understand, please enter the code ATS Live before you make the payments, because it will help you save 7,000 rupees, right? Now, let's see how many of you will be able to answer this question. This is the practice question that I've curated based on our today's discussion. Please do let me know the correct answers in the comment section, and the ones who answer it correctly, I'll give your comments a thumbs up so that you know it. Now, once again, the notes of these sessions, they will be made available on this Telegram channel few minutes after this session ends. So we'll see each other again. Please have a very good day.